This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
And thanks for staying tuned. This is the news. Apologies for bringing it behind schedule. And on the news this evening, Rivers NUJ urged to constitute caretaker committee after crisis marred efforts to elect state executives yesterday. NAPTIP warns of rise in illegal organ harvesting in Rivers State. INEC raises alarm over fake online portal for voter registration. Private medical practitioners accuse government at all levels of neglect. On the foreign scene, police reveal man involved in Plymouth shooting was licensed gun holder. I'm Adeddayo, Elusakin. The Nigerian Union of Journalists has asked its council in Rivers State to constitute a caretaker committee. A statement by the Assistant National Secretary, Midat Joseph, said the caretaker committee should be set up following the stalemate experienced in Rivers State Council election yesterday. It said committee members should be drawn from among the chairmen and secretaries of chapels who are in full financial standing in the council. Meanwhile, a member of the Nigerian Union of Journalists in Rivers State, Olalekon Ige, has stood for peace among members of NUJ in the conduct of its election. Mr. Ige, in an interview with our correspondent, said journalists as the watchdog of the society should live by example by conducting an election that will be devoid of violence. He said aspirants contesting in the election should not see it as a do-or-die affair.
I think it's to call for peace, it's to call for restraint, it's to call for maturity, the way and manner we are going to be electing our leaders. These things are bound to happen. Of course, there will always be different tendencies in every system, but the extent to which you want to harm the other is what, as a union, we should not condone. It doesn't make sense for us as journalists who are members of the society to exhibit characteristics that is unbecoming of such a noble union. So you should appeal for peace, you should appeal for calm. Election is not a do or die affair. There must be a winner, there must be a loser.
As you may know, efforts to elect executive members of the NUJ in Rivers State was marred by violence yesterday. It followed protests against the delegates list and the legality of the official to conduct the election. The police took over the NUJ secretariat afterwards. It was later opened after the two factions reached resolutions at the instance of the Commissioner of Police, Friday Ebuka. In the meantime, several resolutions were said to have been reached at the office of the Commissioner of Police. A statement by the Prudential Committee Chairman and Secretary Victor Tiu and Ebuka Umeda said the resolutions were taken because the National President of NUJ, Chris Izigozu, told the Commissioner that he is not mandated the Zonal Vice President, Edward Ogude, to conduct elections, not take any action during yesterday's conference. And chief among the resolutions is that the dissolution of the State Executive Council led by Stanley Job Stanley did not stand since Mr. Agude was not authorized to represent the national body at the 7th Triennial Delegates Conference. The statement also said the Credential Committee should liaise with the national body of NUJ to fix a new date for the conduct of a peaceful and transparent election. It further added that all contending issues surrounding the delegates list be resolved before the new election date. Leaders of the two factions, including Nawo Chairperson in Rivers State Susan Serekara in Wikana, Tai Chapel Chairman Madi Akujobi, and Zonal Vice President Edward Ogude, and Zonal Secretary Dr. Basi Ayo, were all in attendance at the meeting when these resolutions were taken. Moving on, there is an increase in illegal organ harvesting in Rivers State and other parts of the country. The head of Port Harcourt Liaison Office of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and Wamaka Eketiashi Bezu made this known while speaking on the World Organ Donation Day. And she told correspondent Martha Akiri that there is a high demand for organs and most people depend on the black market. She, however, advised those traveling out of the country to get proper documentation before traveling so they don't end up as victims of the illegal organ harvesting market.
Reports have shown, especially in the male folk, there is this hunger in leaving Nigeria to some other countries They usually come by telling you that don't worry, we'll process your visa. We're going to pay for everything, your accommodation. When you get to the country, you just work and reimburse us back. So most of the times, they usually do not even get to their destination. The best way is sensitization. When you are traveling, do a proper vet and check to be sure. We are not condemning traveling outside Nigeria, but if you must travel, make a proper inquiry so that you do not fall victim.
On the World Organ Donation Day aims to spread awareness about the importance of organ donation and addressed as well as the bunk myths related to donating organs. Meanwhile, some Port Harcourt residents have been speaking on their willingness to donate any of their organs.
That will be only for family members. There are certain sacrifices that you make, and you can only make it for your family members only. Donating your organ means giving out a part of you.
I'm a human being. I don't have to donate any of my organ. How are you sure my own is okay? I won't donate.
No, I cannot donate my organ now because we are not plenty. My mom don't have us plenty.
I'll be willing, but not now, because I'm not in the right perspective to take that decision right now. I'm still young and still want to make more babies, so I don't want something that will affect me in life.
They're saying they did too, so I don't know whether the two of them, they all right. So if you say now one day good, now one no, I can't do not the one who good, what I go can't do.
Meanwhile, INEC has dissociated itself from what it described as fake continuous voter registration online portal. INEC's National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, has not accredited any agency or organization to capture details of voters on its behalf. And with the recent destruction of INEC facilities across the nation, online registration remains the most effective means of capturing new voters. INEC Head of Voter Education and Publicity in the FCT, Adeddayo Okafo, made this known in an interview with SAR correspondent Joy Iberibe. She says the online registration of voters in the FCT has been largely successful.
You know, because the Commission recognizes that there are security challenges, across the country. And then the Commission, led by Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, interact with stakeholders, especially security agents. We have a standing committee called ICSES, that is the committee in charge of security and election security. And that was the advice, that the Commission should first start with the online, and then there will be a review. The Commission did factor that into the entire process.
It is the major news, 92.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt, and still ahead, private medical practitioners accuse government at all levels of neglect. Please stay tuned. And welcome back to the news. The Director General of the NCDC, Chikwe Ihekuazu, says the federal government is expecting the arrival of more AstraZeneca COVID vaccine in the coming days. In a television program this morning, Dr. Ihekuazu said there is need for Nigerians to be even more cautious despite the availability of vaccines. He called for compliance with non-pharmaceutical prevention protocols to stop the third wave of the virus.
We're beginning to get vaccines into the country. We've just announced our sister agency received 4 million doses of Moderna yesterday, another 177,000 doses of the J&J vaccine. We're expecting more of the AstraZeneca. So finally, we're getting in supplies of the tools that we need from a health perspective. But we cannot sustain this response just from the health response. So we need everyone to join us for one, hopefully last push against this virus to limit transmission.
The NTDC boss also spoke on the current outbreak of cholera in the country. He blamed government for failing to properly reticulate water.
We have taken our eyes off water as an important resource delivered by societies and their governments. We have all relinquished that responsibility, even among the elite and the middle class, to individual responsibility. So we're all building our own boreholes. By doing that, we have taken away the political pressure on our leaders to focus on the provision of water as a fundamental need for the development of any society. And when water reticulation systems fail, people resort to whatever local mechanism they can to get water. And through that comes a waterborne disease, of which cholera is the most dangerous.
He also said if the strike by the resident doctors is not resolved, it would lead to increase in COVID cases.
So far, the impact has been minimal, but it will get worse as the strike persists, right? And I think there are very deep issues that are worth the discussions happening and have to be resolved. Many of these are long-standing issues and they need resolution. And I'm very glad that the Ministry of Health, both ministers, are so engaged in this problem, our National Assembly, to resolve it. But there's no doubt about, the level of vulnerability we have as a country because of the strike action will increase exponentially. Is that while the issues at stake for resident doctors are very important, we have an existential problem.
In the meantime, the national president of the Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria, Ile Oda, says the private health practitioners are being neglected by the government at all levels. Dr. Odo said in a television interview that government has the responsibility to provide a good working structure and put in place favorable policies to support the private health sector.
Government does not seem to know that they are there. Government is the driver. Government is the patron. They come in, provide enabling environment, provide a supportive atmosphere for the sector to thrive. If you have to make imports for your consumables, for medication, why all the taxes? Why will I have to go to a bank as hospital owner in the private sector and the same interest rate that oil companies are giving is what you get? And the hospital is not a business. We are social providers. Power is a big issue. Over 40% of your earnings in the private sector goes into power. It has become part of the basic requirement for your facility to be accredited. You don't come to a hospital to accredit. You must show at least 2 generators.
And now, the business news.
In business, Securities and Exchange Commission says the total unclaimed dividend in the Nigerian capital market stood at 170 billion naira as of December 2020. The DG SEC, Lamido Yeguda, said this in the second post-capital market committee virtual news conference. Yeguda said the figure had increased compared to over 158 billion naira total unclaimed dividends as of December 2019. He attributed the rising figure to identity management and multiple subscriptions of investors.
Take it away with the entertainment news.
Nollywood actress Tonto Dike has revealed that she has undergone 2 liposuctions and is waiting on the 3rd. The mother of one said this on her Instagram page today, where she shared a picture of herself on waist trainers and talked about her body goals and liposuction journey. Liposuction is a cosmetic surgery that deals with the removal of fat from a part of the body.
And now, updates on the sports news.
In sports, French giants Paris Saint-Germain are reportedly plotting to bring Cristiano Ronaldo to play alongside Lionel Messi, and this comes days after the League One side completed the signing of Messi this week following his shock exit from Barcelona.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
On the world stage, police have revealed that Jake Davidson, who killed 5 people, including a young girl in Plymouth, was a licensed firearms holder. A 22-year-old shot 2 women, 2 men and a 3-year-old girl in a deadly 6-minute spree in the Keyham area of the city on Thursday evening. And police said the incident, the worst mass shooting in Britain since 2010, is not terror-related. Devon and Cornwall Police Chief Constable Sean Sawyer spoke to newsmen.
As we are still contacting the members of the family of the lady who has died. So there is no motive, as we know at present. Again, that will be subject to inquiry, but we are at the moment not considering terrorism or a relationship with any far-right group or any such other group. But clearly he is on social media and that will be part of the investigation.
In online videos, Davidson spoke of being beaten down and defeated by life. The British Home Secretary, Priti Patel, also spoke on this.
Right now, the tragedy happened last night, and there are a lot of issues, implications, lives have been lost, people have been murdered. This is absolutely tragic and devastating. And for the entire community right now, this will be deeply shocking. So obviously that's where the focus is. There will be a range of questions that will inevitably be asked, and I will be doing exactly the same for the conversations and the discussions that I'll be having with the Chief Constable.
And that's it. On the news this evening, you heard NUJ in Rivers State has been urged to constitute a caretaker committee after crisis-marred efforts to elect state executives yesterday. A NAPTIP has warned of rise in illegal organ harvesting in Rivers State. INEC has raised alarm over a fake online portal for voter registration. And private medical practitioners have accused government at all levels of neglect. On the foreign scene, police have revealed that the man involved in a Plymouth shooting was a licensed gun holder. And that was the news edited by Chilma Ezenwafo. Contact our newsroom on 0818 90017. Cloudy weather expected in Port Harcourt this evening. I'm Adeddayo, Elusakin, and thanks for listening.